the Arizona Veterans Hall of Fame had some new inductees, who they are, and what they did for the U.S. Coming up.
Plus, Restoring Hope. We introduce you to one organization helping veterans who are struggling with everything from addiction to homelessness.
And later on, break it down what the phrase "thank you for your service" means to some veterans.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Raven Payne.
And I'm Camila Williams. Thank you for joining us.
The Arizona Veterans Hall of Fame inducted a new class of veterans. These inductees come from all different branches, including the Navy, Army, and Air Force. And the Tuskegee Airmen had 2 members inducted. Reporter Julia Sandor went to the ceremony to hear their stories.
Membership in the Arizona Veterans Hall of Fame is the highest honor the governor gives to Arizona veterans. They are honored for serving the country and accomplishing even more beyond their service. And every veteran's journey to where they are now is unique.
Both at Moore Air Base and at Craig, I was the only African-American student out of about 400 to 500 students. So it was challenging, let's put it that way.
William Norwood is a member of the Tuskegee Airmen, the first all-African-American male group in the Air Force, and he was trained to fly B-52s during the Cuban Missile Crisis. But he wasn't the only Tuskegee Airman to leave his mark on Arizona.
So I did 27 mission Operation Desert Storm. I was instructor at the Air Force version of the Top Gun School as a student and then as an instructor. I spent time as a commander twice, Korea, Luke Air Force Base. I spent tour of the Pentagon.
Paul Smiley is also a member of the Tuskegee Airmen, and after spending 25 years in the Air Force, he became a renowned business owner in Arizona with his company, Sonoran Technology.
We train pilots how to fly, air crews how to fly, cybersecurity, and we're at a military installation helping the Air Force achieve their mission, and sometimes even the Army as well.
And Norwood also went on to make history.
I decided to get out of the Air Force. I had been there about 6 years and try the airlines. So I went to United Airlines as their first African-American pilot and flew with them for 31 years. Had a great career.
Norwood and Smiley are just 2 examples of veterans whose service didn't end after they left the military. All the inductees were chosen because they continue to inspire other generations. And while their lives were celebrated, they also honored those who lost theirs. In Scottsdale, Julia Sandor, Cronkite News.
The 21st class inducted into the Arizona Veterans Hall of Fame honored a total of 16 new members.
Over 9% of all adults experiencing homelessness are veterans, according to one federal report. Here in Arizona, more than 800 veterans identified as homeless in 2019. Veterans seeking services have options, but it can be overwhelming sometimes. That's where Operation Restoring Hope comes in. The organization was started by 2 veterans who saw a need to reach veterans on a number of levels. They offer group activities that encourage veterans to lift each other up, build confidence and pride. In the Trenches to Wrenches program, veterans build motorcycles and build relationships at the same time. Their annual retreat is a time for veterans to escape to the woods, enjoy camp activities, and talk with fellow veterans. The bond these veterans have with each other is an important part of the program.
It's to help inspire our brothers and sisters that are struggling with addiction, homelessness, incarceration. You know, I myself, I've been through the struggle. After getting out of the military, I struggled a lot with all of the above.
I mean, you can talk to people and see their experiences and what they've gone through, and you can feel better because you've gone through some of the same stuff. So, in that way, it's a brotherhood that helps out.
Operation Restoring Hope also helps veterans access services, counseling, and benefit programs. You can find more information on their website at orvh.net.
Each year, the group honoring America's veterans puts on the Veterans Day Parade through Uptown Phoenix. The parade attracts 45,000 spectators who line Central and 7th Street to watch the bands, floats, and honor the Grand Marshals. This year, 7 Grand Marshals honored veterans beginning with World War II. Cronkite News was able to talk with several of these veterans to share their stories with you. Colonel Christine Mann is a retired U.S. Army Reserve nurse who served for 33 years. In her time, she was the chief nurse during Operation Desert Storm, mobilized in Saudi Arabia. Cronkite News reporter Alyssa Stoney talked with Mann about her experiences.
I was in the Army Reserve, and I started here in Phoenix in 1972. And I met a nurse who told me that I should join the Army Reserve because it would be easy. I could teach enlisted guys how to take vital signs. I can do that. The registered nurse in the Army, a nurse officer, functions like a nurse in any other hospital. We were located 10 miles from the Iraqi border and had 1/3 of the casualties from 7th Corps. So we had everything from very minor injuries to very serious life-threatening injuries. And most of our patients were Iraqi prisoners of war, which was a challenge, and they were very frightened of us. They were told that we would do terrible things to them. I learned a lot about leadership. I was the chief nurse of the unit responsible for nursing service. I learned a lot about people, learning how to deal in a man's world when women weren't always accepted in leadership roles. One of the hardest things I had to do was to leave my family. I had 3 young children at the time. My daughter, the youngest, was only 8 years old. Well, I think it's an important day for the country to recognize the sacrifice individuals have made, but also the sacrifices that families make. Veterans Day needs to be a reminder of what people give. Fortunately, I did not have to give the ultimate sacrifice, but when you think of how many have, or who come home so wounded, we must not forget those who have such horrible scars, both physically and mentally, from their war experiences.
There are many stories to be told about our veterans and the memories they have. Talking to them gives us a deeper understanding of our history as it occurred during the time they were a part of the military. Reporter Milan Andrade had the opportunity to speak to a Cold War veteran.
The Cold War, we were always preparing and training and getting ready for in case we ever had to deploy. The whole thing is always being ready, and that's what it's all about. Taking every scenario that you can that can possibly happen and be prepared for it, how to handle it, what you need to do, what kind of equipment, what kind of supplies, personnel, everything that you needed just in case to handle those conflicts if they ever arose. And I was part of rapid deployment, so if there was something that happened, I was packed and ready to go. I kept the MO bag in my locker for countless years, to be honest with you, because I had to be ready to deploy at any point in time. I've been almost all over the world. I've been to other countries. One of the things I always focused on was trying to learn the culture. Japan, they have their different traditions and their different cultures. I was fortunate enough to be at Misawa Air Base, where we were about as north as you can get in Japan. Everything I have, I love, especially my family. As you can see, family comes first to me, always has, no matter what. And even when you're deploying, the first thing is you're missing your family before you even leave, and that's the hard part. The beneficial part of being deployed is knowing that your troops and morale, welfare, and recreation, and everybody's looking out for your family while you're away, because now you can focus on the mission at hand instead of having to worry how your family's doing and stuff like that. So in a lot of ways, the military is one big family, and they look out for each other and they take care of each other.
After Carlos's experience in the military, he is still in contact with those he has met during his time in service.
Colonel John J. South is a Vietnam War veteran from the 1st Infantry Division of the Army. Cronkite News reporter Kylie Cochran talked with South about his 30 years of service.
I joined the Army when I was 17 years old. As a kid, I always wanted to be a soldier. So when I first landed in Saigon at the Air Force Base there, we walked off the plane, all soldiers, 130 of us, I guess. We walked down the ramp, and it just hit me like, oh my goodness. I looked down and I saw a whole about 15 flat cars of body bags, which were all dead soldiers. Sure gave you a wake-up call of the reality of life and the reality of death, which was right there. We were recon, and what that means is we were like a backup unit. They fly in, they say jump, and we jump, usually 10, 12 feet above the ground into rice paddies. We spent 90% of our time in the jungle. Both times I was over there. You don't sleep in pajamas in Vietnam. You sleep in your full uniform and combat boots because you don't know when you're going to have to get up. I was shot once and blown up like everybody else was. It's interesting how you can compartmentalize things because of fear in order to let the adrenaline, thank God for that sometimes. My wife and I both have PTSD. That's something that we're ashamed of. It's how you deal with it and what kind of resources you have and support systems. I talked to soldiers over the times about PTSD, and they would say, "Chaplain, you have PTSD? You're a chaplain." I said, "Well, yeah. I'm a chaplain. Yes, I'm a Christian, but I have PTSD." I said, "I'm human, though. No, I'm not God." You know, the personal experience of death, and you're around death a lot, is your appreciation for life, your appreciation for God, first of all, and life, your deep appreciation for the time that you have to do something with your life for someone else. It's not about you, you know, and together you can do a lot more.
Colonel John J. South also served during his civilian life as a police chaplain, supporting teams in the Columbine shooting and at Ground Zero. The other Grand Marshals included Edward Chan, a World War II veteran who served with the U.S. Air Force and now lives in Mesa. Raf Gaslam, a Korean War veteran who served in the U.S. Marine Corps, who lives in Chandler. James Jack Livingstone, who is U.S. Army Special Forces and served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. He lives in Glendale. And Scott Ford, who is also U.S. Army Special Forces, now retired. He served in Afghanistan and lives in Phoenix.
A female World War II veteran recently celebrated a milestone birthday. Coming up, what she did for our country and how she celebrated.
Your favorite member benefit is getting better and bigger.
This is wonderful.
Over the next year, Passport is adding new shows and doubling the number of episodes for you to stream.
They give us all that they've got.
From your favorite cooking and travel series.
Even the stairs are breathtaking.
To history specials and award-winning documentaries. Better and bigger.
That really is the fun part.
Stream on any device with Passport on the PBS Video app.
What you get from Washington Week that you will not get anywhere else are the best and the brightest reporters from different media companies, and they're able to have a real conversation about things that are happening in Washington and around the country. But it's also a show about issues that are relevant to different communities. How do you think that, as the moderator, I feel this deep responsibility to bring in those other perspectives so that people understand how power and politics impact their daily lives.
Friday nights at 7 on Arizona PBS.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Watch Arizona PBS any way you want, on air and online. Download the PBS Video app to stream your favorite PBS programs anytime you want. And you can even watch Arizona PBS live, wherever you are, right from our website at azpbs.org. Don't forget about all your favorite PBS Kids shows, too, on the PBS Kids Video app. Watch Arizona PBS, your way today.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. You know, I don't go anywhere without my Passport. Thanks to PBS Passport, you can watch all my travel specials. This exclusive streaming service is just for our members. Not only can you see all my shows, but you can see thousands of hours of your favorite public television shows. Become a member today.
A unique woman celebrated her 101st birthday this year. Major Fran McClendon is a World War II veteran belonging to a special unit known as 6888. Cronkite News reporter Julia Sandor went to the celebration to speak to McClendon about her lifelong legacy.
Cars lined one Tempe street today as people honked and cheered for a national treasure on her birthday. Major Fran McClendon is just one of 7 known survivors of the 6,888th Central Postal Directory Battalion. The group, also known as the 6888, consisted of 855 African American women who served overseas during World War II.
So they needed a bunch of people, and they got 800 of us to come over to Birmingham, England, where the mail was piled up for quite a while, but we all got it out.
These women accomplished moving a 2-year backlog of undelivered mail to 7 million service members. They lived up to their motto of no mail, no morale.
And we shipped mail to units that were moving, continually moving. And if we couldn't find them, we returned the mail to the States.
About 65,000 pieces of mail were processed each shift they worked, and they worked 3 shifts per day. Clearing the 2-year backlog only took these women 3 months, and they made a difference for women of color everywhere.
I've been so pleased with everyone surrounding her, that she has such a great support system, and how hard people are working to make sure that she gets the credit that she's due, the recognition that she has way overdue for, and it just makes me feel great that it's happening for her now.
The United States Postal Service delivered over 500 letters to McClendon this morning.
Crazy. See, because I've been going through this, getting bits and pieces of all the things that they've been talking about. This nice lady came all the way from the east. They came from Louisiana. It's just overwhelming.
Happy birthday to you. The Senate has passed legislation that would award members of McClendon's battalion with the Congressional Gold Medal. The bill is awaiting action in the House.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.